Hey everyone, welcome to Three Guys, One Movie. I'm Angus.
I'm Zach.
And we saw Leigh Whannell's Upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
This movie was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was really, really, really good. Going into it, I think you showed me the trailer for it, and I thought, oh, it's a fun action movie. And for like the first two acts, it was really well executed action, really fun, kind of self-aware, I'd say.
Yeah.
Then the third act, it turns into like an episode of Black Mirror, but it works. It works.
Well, it has
really
a tonal shift, but it doesn't break it.
Yeah,
like it works for what the movie is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it does kind of come out of left field,
sorta.
It works, and it's a movie that the more that I've thought about it, the more I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's not like an incredibly clever movie, this isn't like Annihilation or something where you're going to dig into it for all the hidden meanings and whatever. It's nothing like that.
No.
But it does get very bleak in a way that kind of makes you think about certain things.
Yeah.
But it's also just like a really interesting and unique kind of sci-fi movie. Like, the movie's presented in a really interesting way. And this movie's like super low budget. Like, it's a Leigh Whannell thing. He never gets a big budget for anything. This is the guy who wrote Saw and like was in fucking Cooties and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like, he never does big budget project. I think Insidious 3 was the only thing he's ever directed.
Mm-hmm.
And this was his second movie that he directed. This is a hell of a lot better than Insidious 3.
It's a lot better than Insidious 3.
Logan Marshall Green, the lead actor, this is really good too.
Yeah, he gives a good
performance. He's kind of bootleg Tom Hardy, but
little bit.
He is really good in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he gives a good performance.
I really liked like most things about this movie. Like for how low budget it was, I loved the production design and like the way they made like these weird like robo-car kind of things. Like the automated cars were kind of cool looking. Even like the way his futuristic house looks with the little robo arms to help him and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's low budget, but it's mostly practical effects.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks good. Like there's not a lot of unconvincing effects in there.
Not that I can think of now.
And then getting into the action scenes, which are like my favorite part of the movie.
Oh my god, yeah.
This movie shoots action in a really interesting way with a stabilized camera that I haven't really seen in anything else.
Yeah.
Where when someone gets into a fist fight, when they get knocked down, the camera falls down with them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this really interesting, you'd think that would be disorienting with having someone explain it to you, but when you watch the movie, it actually works really well. Like, it's totally like immersive, and it's almost funny, and it feels like it's self-aware in terms of like the whole movie screens being automated, if you would. Kind of like the character is automated himself in the movie because he's got like a whole fucking like robo-exoskeleton kind of thing, or internal like implant thing that's like controlling his head, or his whole body. But like there's even... I watched it again the other day, and someone had pointed this out to me. I didn't even notice it the first time I was watching it, but this movie actually pays really close attention to its fight choreography, down to the point that because the lead character has no control of anything below his neck, anytime that he needs to move his head out of the way of a punch, it's actually his hand pushing his head out of the way. He doesn't dodge it himself.
Really? I didn't even
notice that. But watching it again, they actually like have his hand like push his head out of the way and whatever. And like
that's
really
cool.
quick, and I was like, that's cool that they're self-aware of that. Like they know that he wouldn't be able to do that.
That's cool.
And this movie just like... There's a lot of stuff in it that's funny. It's like it seems tongue-in-cheek.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Like, even just the concept of it. It's someone who gets a robotic implant and uses that robotic implant to hunt down people who killed his wife.
Yeah.
And, like, the first time he gets into a fight with one of these guys and lets the robot take over. It's in the trailer, but, like, it's hilarious in the movie.
God, yeah.
Because his arms are going nuts and he's stabbing this dude and everything, but his facial expressions are like he's terrified.
Yeah.
And he's just, like... freaking out, and it works.
It works really, really
like,
well.
he played that really well for having his hands, like, separate from the rest of his body or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's, like, I as a, like, a Saw fanboy and whatever, there's some cool little Easter eggs in there that they dropped along the way, like, even the fact that when he goes to visit the hacker girl to, like, shut down the code that's inside of him, the door across from her is J1.
Oh, okay.
They had, like, little Easter egg things like that, because Leigh Whannell and James Wan are, like, best buddies and all that stuff, and they, like, had little Easter eggs sort of sprinkled through it.
That's cool.
There's a spray paint image of the Jigsaw Clown at one point in the background on a wall and shit like that. Like, they had, like, little things like that I thought were kind of, like, just cool little, like, horror nerd references, because that's where he came from. Like, that's the kind of shit that he normally does. But I really appreciate that. And I appreciate this movie just being, like, a low-budget sci-fi. Mm-hmm. Considering everything now is, like, big-budget explosions, whatever. This thing's just, like, this small-scale, one guy hunting down another, like, 4 people.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get any more complicated than that. Like, the movie doesn't have this whole fucking army come after him. It's just, like, 6 guys, and that's it. And there's some inventive shit in there.
Oh, definitely.
In terms of, there's guys who have guns in their hand. One of the guys gets his own face shot off with his own hand.
That was great.
It's kind of ridiculous. There's even, like, there's a moment at the end when he gets stabbed in the hand, and there's a knife sticking out of his hand, and you know at some point in that scene someone's gonna get slapped with that knife hand, and they do. Mm-hmm. And that's where the bleakness came in at the ending. It was like when that happened. Because this movie kind of flipped the script on the last second there.
Definitely. But it didn't feel out of place. It really, really, really worked.
Yeah, well, it almost did something really cliched that was going to annoy me.
Yeah.
Which was the whole waking up in a hospital bed and being like,
it's just a dream.
It's just a dream. You know, you've been in a coma and your loving wife just woke up beside you. And then it cuts back and the computer's taken full control and just locked him in his own subconscious, pretty much. Well, but he's happier that way.
Yeah. But the whole thing, too, is like this... The chip that's implanted in him has its own, like, AI, and it talks to him and communicates.
Well, the back and forth between the two of them is great.
Yeah. But then, like, the person who puts it in him, you find out later on, is being controlled by the AI.
Yeah. So there's kind of like a double little twist there. Mm-hmm. But I love the back and forth between him and the computer.
Yeah.
Like, even, like, there was a point when he gets into that bar fight and he refers to himself as, like, a fucking ninja or whatever, and the computer's like, I may be fast, but I'm not a ninja. Like, it just interrupts him to, like, make, like, logistical comments about things. Mm-hmm. It's funny that they gave him, like, a little weird relationship there. It's kind of like a HAL 9000 type thing.
Yeah.
Because it's slowly trying to take over.
Yeah.
I was almost waiting for a joke like that to come up. Like, I can't do that, Gray, or whatever. Like, they had to say that line at some point.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they didn't now, I'm thinking about it.
But I really dug this movie.
Yeah,
like,
it was really good.
This is one of my favorite movies this year. Mm. I really enjoyed it. And it's one of those movies that, like, I highly recommend, like, giving some money. Because I want more stuff like this.
Yes, definitely.
It's a really cool movie. This is the kind of movie we need. Just something nice and light, but also dark. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, it's got some inventive shit in there, so. Mm-hmm. I feel like most people will enjoy this. You don't have to be like a genre nerd to like it.
Oh, no, not at all.
Because it's almost like a low-key superhero movie in a weird way.
Kind of.
Like, it's like someone who gets to be more than a normal human.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And it even has that as a theme.
Yeah.
Throughout the movie, like, getting to be more than a normal human. Mm-hmm. Like, the villain in the movie has, like, the same kind of thing going on and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, really like this movie. What would you rate it?
I give it an 8. I was never bored throughout the movie. Really, really good action scenes. Really well choreographed. And then when the ending came and the twist happens, and it never felt out of place. And I thought it worked really, really, really well. It went for a different tone, but it never felt awkward or weird or just out of place. It worked really, really well.
Yeah, I love this movie. This is one of my favorite ones this year. I'd say 9 out of 10. Pretty high rating, but I really liked it. I really like Leigh Whannell. I want him to keep writing stuff. Mm-hmm. I guess that wraps it up. Follow us on Letterboxd, Twitter, all that stuff. It'll be linked down below, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace.